Right, let's dive straight into this explainer. We really need to shatter this myth that AI is just, a basic chatbot you type questions into. If you've been following the tech space at all, you know the conversation has evolved massively, but there's still this huge misconception out there about what actually powers a modern, enterprise-ready AI. So today, we're going to break down the full anatomy of a complete digital worker.
If you think AI is just an LLM floating around in a void somewhere, well, think again. Relying only on a language model by itself is basically a one-way ticket to hallucinations, outdated info, and honestly, pretty limited utility. It's kind of like hiring a totally brilliant employee but locking them in a windowless room with no internet, no company files, and absolutely no way to send an email, and then just expecting them to magically guess exactly what you want. Not gonna work, right?
What the reality actually looks like is this complete 7-part interconnected ecosystem. It really functions a lot more like the anatomy of the ultimate digital employee. From the underlying reasoning engine all the way down to the evaluation metrics, this maps out how modern AI systems actually operate in the real world. It's a fully cohesive machine where every single piece completely relies on the others.
So here's how we're gonna break this all down today. 1. Beyond the chatbot model. 2. Intelligence and memory. 3. Automation and connection. 4. Safety and continuous improvement. And finally, 5. The complete AI ecosystem.
All right, part 1, beyond the chatbot model, the core engine.
So the LLM, that is essentially the brain of our digital worker. And honestly, this is where most people mistakenly think the AI journey just starts and completely stops. It's the reasoning engine that generates text, explains concepts, and creates ideas. The LLM provides pure, raw intelligence. But like we talked about, without the rest of the ecosystem, it's just that genius locked in an empty room. It can reason beautifully, sure, but it doesn't know your company's PTO policy or your live inventory data unless we give it away to find out.
Moving right along to part 2, intelligence and memory, giving AI context. Okay, so to give this isolated brain access to actual facts, we use RAG, which stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Think of RAG like slipping a filing cabinet right under the door to the LLM. It retrieves the absolute most relevant information before the model even tries to generate its response. By giving it this exact, targeted context, it doesn't just confidently guess or fabricate a lie, which, is what we call a hallucination. Instead, it anchors its super powerful reasoning to your actual real-world facts. The actual workflow here is pretty straightforward but super powerful. First off, we intercept the user's prompt. Then, step 2, the system goes out and retrieves the relevant information. And step 3, we feed that combined context directly into the LLM. By forcing the system to retrieve real data first, we completely transform the journey of that prompt from simple guesswork into informed, highly accurate reasoning.
But wait, how does RAG actually find that information so insanely fast? Well, it relies on a vector DB, or vector database. This is a highly specialized, lightning-fast memory vault that stores information as embeddings. And what that means is it essentially translates words into math and coordinates, which allows for semantic search. That's what makes this incredibly fast recall possible. It's not just looking for exact words anymore. It's actively looking for meaning.
The shift here is absolutely massive. Look, traditional keyword search is incredibly rigid. If you search for the word vacation, but your company policy document actually calls it time off, yeah, you get 0 results. But semantic recall, which is powered by these vector DBs, actually understands the true meaning of your prompt. It gets the context and the flexibility of human language, ensuring the LLM gets the perfect context, literally, every single time.
Okay, part 3, automation and connection, hands and tools.
So now that our system has a brain and a photographic memory, it's time to give it some hands. This is exactly where the AI agent steps in. An AI agent goes way beyond just answering a simple question. It actually orchestrates workflows, makes real-time decisions on what the next action should be, and interacts with tools totally autonomously, like it can actually book a flight or update a spreadsheet all on its own. AI agents transform the entire setup from a passive answering machine into a fully active digital worker capable of true automation. But here's the catch. To actually interact with those tools, it needs a way to plug into them, right? Enter MCP, the Model Context Protocol. You can think of MCP as the ultimate universal power plug. It provides this one single standard that unlocks endless connections. So instead of developers writing custom code for every single app,
MCP allows the AI agent to securely and seamlessly reach right into your enterprise systems. We're talking Slack, Salesforce, internal databases, the whole shebang.
Which brings us to part 4, safety and continuous improvement, the manager.
Listen, if you've got an autonomous AI running around, taking actions across your company's systems, you absolutely need a manager watching it. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a whole HR department in place to monitor all this activity. And this breaks down beautifully into 2 layers. First, we have guardrails acting as your active protection. They enforce security, compliance, safety, and your specific business rules to guarantee reliable behavior and build trust. Then second, we have evals, which is your passive monitoring. Evals are constantly measuring accuracy, latency, cost, and overall system performance to ensure continuous improvement. Basically, you protect the system with guardrails, and you optimize it with evals.
And finally, part 5, the complete AI ecosystem, bringing it together.
So we've built the brain, the memory, the hands, and we hired the manager. When you step back and look at the complete journey, it's this incredibly slick ecosystem. Raw intelligence from the LLM gets anchored by ultra-relevant context from RAG and vector DBs. And then, that intelligence isn't just generated and left there. It's put into action and orchestrated autonomously by the AI agent using MCP. And through that entire process, it operates under the watchful eyes of guardrails and evals to keep it safe and constantly improving. They all just fit together perfectly, like a giant, super smart puzzle.
Which brings us to a really powerful takeaway straight from the source material. It says, the biggest shift in AI isn't just better models, it's building complete AI systems. Man, that hits the nail on the head. This quote perfectly captures the fundamental mindset shift you need to have to succeed in the modern tech landscape. Chasing the newest, slightly smarter LLM just isn't the goal anymore. The real goal is architecting this entire 7-part ecosystem around it.
So, I'm going to leave you with this one question to chew on. How will your business or your specific workflow adapt this multi-layered AI ecosystem? Because mastering this 7-part architecture isn't just some technical upgrade for the IT department. It's the true key to unlocking AI's real-world potential and turning what used to be a neat parlor trick into a tireless, incredibly effective digital workforce. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today, and I really hope this gives you a totally new lens through which to view the future of AI.